Shana tova tekatevu umetucha. That's Hebrew for have a happy, sweet, and joyous new year. May you be inscribed in the book of life. It's a very holy day today. I didn't go dancing in honour of the very holy Jewish holiday, the first day of the Jewish year. And it was hard because my witchy spirit wanted to go dancing and go as I normally would do on the weekend. But my Jewish neshama said, you can be good even if it's only once a year. I don't know why my neshama has a German accent. I was going for Yiddish, but you know, I do have the German handicap, don't I? In more ways than one, darling. Anyway, it's been a lovely day. It's been spiritual, but not in the sense that I went to a shul, because the Tanya can belong to no shul that will have her as a member. I mean, that's not true. You know, legally, officially, they're obliged to include me if I rocked up, right? I am still a reform, or progressive Jew, but I've been made so I've been tormented over the last 30 years in Brisbane that I don't really feel it. I don't feel like putting myself through that, So anyway, I stayed home. I didn't go dancing, and I even lit the candles for the Shabbat and for Rosh Hashanah. And so that was just a small token of effort that I made. And it was kind of whimsy because they were the last of my Shabbat candles or holiday candles. So I'll have to buy another box from somewhere, and I'm not sure where. I'll probably have to buy it from Gold's in Sydney. It's very hard to get Jewish candles or Hanukkah candles or anything in Brisbane, unless you're in a very select A-League club. You're in the shul transit. Once a heathen, you're just sort of forgotten about, disenfranchised. Pardon me, makes it very hard to find things. Anyway, I finished this ring yesterday. I finished it actually just on Shabbat last night, and I polished it up and everything, and then I put it on and I discovered it's too big for me. I've made it a size or too big. So I'm going to have to go in and take a piece out of the back of the ring, which is okay because it's a bit banged up anyway. Let me see if we can get it close up. But it's a bit, there. Focus, iPhone, focus. I want an iPhone that focuses. Well, anyway, that piece that's all banged up, it's serendipitous that it's too big because I'll have to cut it out and resolder it. She says with trepidation because I hope I don't wreck the whole piece. But anyway, I made this yesterday. I started making it the day, Beauregard died at 5 o'clock in the evening of the 1st of August, and which was awful. So the following day I threw myself into making this piece. So it's laid around since then. So what's that, just over a month and a half. So I finally finished it last night, but it's not finished. I've decided, apart from making it a size smaller, how can I turn this around? Well, anyway, let's do it like this. Don't mind my simian line. I'm going to, where I cast the ingot, there's like little bubbles that I'm not happy about. Couldn't sand them out. I tried, grind them out. So I think I'll add a sweat solder, a little love heart in sterling silver on top of that to mask that. And I did want to set a stone on it. I'm still thinking about that, because if I set a stone, I won't be putting the little love heart on top. But anywho, I'm still deciding. But I decorated the sides with one of my texture hammers. See all the little stripes? Oh my God, that looks hideous. I'm so old. I've got my father's wattle in his neck now. He didn't get that ugly neck. I'm trying to exercise my neck muscles. Till he was in his 70s and I'm only 58. But life has not been kind to me. I had a lot of trauma with that bastard and various other monsters in my family. So of course I've got a premature, horrible, old lady waddle in my neck. One of the gifts of trauma that they gave to me was premature aging and ugliness and a little bit of bitterness and a little bit of unwillingness to forgive, because I did the forgiveness route when I was young and they just kept torturing me. So I know now no longer forgive. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. It's all good though, because they're dead and they're dealing with the Lord as we speak, and hopefully the Lord will be kind to me and give me a gentler, sweeter life for the rest of my days on earth. Do you hear me up there? I know it's Rosh Hashanah and I'm a Jewish shaman, witch, heathen, but you could help me along a little bit. Enough already. He says, I'll help you along a bit, darling. I'll help you right off this planet. Don't give me cheek and blaspheme. So you see, that's my relationship with the Holy One. It's a constant bantering and bit of fun and whimsy sometimes. Like when you send me lackluster, weak, sadistic lovers that torture me for years. That was a good laugh, wasn't it? Yes, he's laughing on the other side of his dominion. One day I'll laugh too. Oh, on a funny note, I posted on Instagram and I no longer have the image because I filled my cup up. Made another cup of tea, even though the cup could have done with a bit of a wash, quite frankly. It's a bit tea stained. But there was a tea stain in the bottom of it this morning, and it was looked like the shape of Australia. I posted it on Facebook and Instagram for my witchy and my shaman and my magical friends to interpret, but it was weird because it looked like two faces, and the face on the left had a black moustache and bit of hair on the side, and he wasn't as fat as I remember my ex-husband being, but it looked like my ex-husband when I met him when I was like 17. Like he was 20, just turned 28. So it kind of looked like him in profile, even had the big Jewish schnoz, right? And I was like, oh, Bejaysus, why am I being haunted by this man? He's not even dead yet. I don't think he's dying. I don't wish him, for the record, I don't wish him dead. I just don't want him anywhere near me because I find him venal and disgusting. But, I mean, there's a reason he's still alive. I just don't care enough. I really don't care. But in recent months, he's been haunting me. I've had dreams about him, which I interpreted correctly while I was dreaming of him, because it was at the time my daughter was producing a play and she was under a lot of stress and there was a lot of awful sabotage going on. So I was picking up her distress in the form of dreams, but of her father, which was most bizarre. So anyway, so this morning seeing his image in the cup on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side it looked like two people giving each other a hongi, which is a Maori or Polynesian kiss. Traditionally they don't kiss with their lips. They press their forehead and their noses together like this. That's a hongi. So it looked like, and the other face pressing their forehead against what looked like my ex-husband's face looked like too much like my mother. I actually went into denial and went, I don't know what that is. Had another good look at it and went, it's my mother. Definitely looked like my mother. Had her funny big nose too. So I'm looking at this in my cup because you could look at the outline, and the outline made the shape of Australia, had Tasmania at the bottom, which was part of the neckline of my mother, but it was missing the point of Cape York, right? Which is funny because it would have given my mother a pointy kind of hat or something. So anyway, I'm looking at this image. It was hilarious. I'm freaking out looking at it going, oh, Bejaysus, why am I, Bejaysus, nice Jewish girl I am, why am I being haunted by, the spirit showing me my ex-husband and my dead evil mother, right? And I thought about it. I did say only recently I was writing about them. And I said, I think I said it in one of my videos recently about how my ex-husband colluded constantly with my mother because he was a motherfucker, and frankly they deserve each other. So from my lips to God's ears came back this image of them giving each other a hongi, which is a mark of deep respect and affection, and indeed collusion. Anyway, you have to laugh because someone out there on Rosh Hashanah of all days is listening into all my conversations and vomiting them back out at me, regurgitating them back out at me to mess with my fragile little Jewish shaman mind. And that's okay because it's a little bit amusing, but weird, So tonight is this evening at sunset will be the second night of Rosh Hashanah. And if you are a deeply religious Orthodox person, you would be observing both nights, right? Based on the fact that in the diaspora, we don't know when the exact time in Rosh Hashanah is in Israel because we're so far away. And I mean, we can calculate it now, but in ancient times, they made all the holidays 2 days to make sure everyone got to celebrate it, at least one of the holy nights on either the first or the second night, just to make sure we were all synced up, the children of Israel, the wanderers from the Egypt, plodding around with our Abrahamic God, the punishing one, the bemused one, the very, very funny trickster one at times. And anyway, I don't know if Yahweh's meant to be a trickster, but he is with me. He really likes to give me a good old wind up. He does, innit? Anyway, I was very tempted to go dancing tonight, but I went to the Woolworths. I did do grocery shopping on Rosh Hashanah because I'd run out of everything and I couldn't wait till Tuesday. So, and I'm not that religious, let's face it. So anyway, I went down. I spent $60. I bought some lunch, some Chinese meal, a Japanese karaage chicken meal, which actually I don't know why I buy that because you buy it in Woolies, it's actually lukewarm and it actually isn't very nice, so that was a waste of $11 right there. But anyway, I ate it in the car park because I was hungry. And what else did I buy? I bought milk, and I bought some extra long life milk because I'm going through a lot of milk because I drink so much tea. And what else? I'm trying to cut back on tea because of my bladder, but old habits die hard. Oh, I bought a watermelon, and I just bought some few very small bits of vegetables to make for a meal for the next 3 days. So I'm covered for the next 3 days, hopefully. And all that cost me $72. Like, it was sweet fuck all food, really. Quite shocked at how much food is costing me. I did buy 3 blocks of chocolate, though, but they were $2.75 each, so they were cheap. But I guess, that's $8.25 right about there. So it adds up. It does add up. And I have to discipline myself to not eat all the chocolate in one go so that it lasts a couple of weeks, because even though it was on special, I got to think about my gorgeous, Bejaysus and well padded and well armoured figure. So, so there is that. Anyway, that money, that $60, I was anticipating using to go dancing to pay for car parking and, have a couple of drinks. Well, I wouldn't have spent $60, but it would have been, $40 or $50. But I decided, no, I haven't been well all week, actually. And it probably behooves me to just stay home this weekend, not just because it's a religious Jewish holiday of, the 10 days of awe, of repenting for my sins, the sin I have committed, going shopping on Yom Kippur, the sins I have committed, not forgiving my enemies because I forgave them and I forgave them and I forgave them, and I'm done being the martyr. It's that whole other religion that espoused that viewpoint. is also debauched and evil in my worldview. So no, won't be doing that. The pagan gods are on my wavelength and well understand why I'm done. I'm done the forgiveness malarkey. But anyway, so I'm sitting here making rings. So I made these 2 bands, and I know because I'm based on that one, because I made them the same size, they're also going to be too big, and I might have to cut a piece out. I made those, and I made those with the same problem, or I could just sell them for people with bigger fingers than me. I've got pretty big fingers though, so. But anyway, there we are at. I've made 2 more rings, because these will get soldered together as split rings, and so will that. So will those. So, pardon me. So I've been productive even though I've not been well. It's actually quite astonishing how productive I can be given how ill I feel most of the time. But anyway, I had a real moment of feeling clear-headed, clear and not in brain fog and not feeling icky, you know, driving home with the groceries. So I thought, well, I'll sit here and I'll work on this ring. And then instead of working on the ring, I got inspired to tell you, YouTube world, about my day. I will be dancing next weekend as I normally do, and because my favourite band, Alter Egos, are playing at the Brooklyn Standard, so I will be out strutting my stuff as I do. And I did message them and let them know that there was an awful lot of unpleasantness and weirdness a month ago when I went. The last time I went it was fine, but the first time I went it was pretty bloody confronting actually. So I'm hoping that it all will be well next weekend when I go. And if it's not well, I will just rise above it or go home earlier. I'm not a prisoner of anyone's love, and I'm a free person, and I have free will to come and go as I please, which is how I like to live my life. But, you know, I did give them a heads up that, you know, I had grave concerns for my safety and that it was a bit confronting and it was a bit weird. So hopefully that will be fine when I rock up next time. Because I will have my truth until the day I die. And, of course, because I have adhered to my truth quite courageously and quite stubbornly, I have acquired a lot of enemies, in particular, you know, people that, you know, were intimate with me and should have been loving but chose to be rotten, demonic cesspools of shit. So there is that. And I did rise above that for 9-10 years, but now I'm done rising above it. So I'm just going to live my best life and fully anticipate not being under full-blown attack when I go out, because really these people should have moved on, shouldn't they? They really should have. They've got their own partners now and they've got their own lives. There's no need to bother me when I'm out dancing doing my thing. I'm not bothering them. I'm just living my best life as I have always done, and that seems to be enough to drive them crazy, you know, because they wanted me dead, actually. They must have been so disappointed when I got vomited back to earth in 2015, because the gods might be crazy, but they knew I deserved better than that, and they have shown me. They have shown me potentials that I can create a better life for myself than that cesspit, you know, 8 and 9, 10 years ago. And it's been a beautiful, albeit painful, transformation, I suppose, because, you know, I lost so many of my beautiful pets, and, you know, certain friends in that scene came and certain friends in that scene went, and it was ugly. There was a lot of ugliness. But here we are at Sacred Space, Titania's realm, living my dream, living my psychedelic dream as I have always done, one day at a time. Sweet Moses. So, yeah, I just wanted to tell you about my haunting by my ex-husband, which is a bit weird since he's not dead. I'm starting to wonder, because he's older than me. I'm 58 in 4 months, and he'll be 69. Oh, he'll have just turned 69 on the 3rd of September. So, I mean, I don't wish him dead, don't get me wrong, but I'm wondering why I keep having these little messages coming to me regarding him. It's a bit bizarre. Would it be that he would want to come to me and apologise for being a fucking piece of shit for the 12 years I was with him, and the 10 years after the separation that he tormented me with my children? So you might as well say 20 years he tormented us, the pig. But it wouldn't be that he wants forgiveness, because he doesn't have the couth or the grace to ask for my forgiveness, darling. He's just too much of an animal. So it wouldn't be that. So it's got me curious. Maybe he is going to transition. Maybe I'm going to transition. Well, that's always on the cards, you know, with my sleep apnea and my bowels and now my bladder really arcing up, and grieving my dog, and you know, as I said to my psychiatrist, I'm almost ready to go. The only problem is I said that, and the very next day a truck nearly slammed into me, and suddenly I wasn't ready to go, and I was like, swing, fully integrated back into my full reins of my body again, going, don't think I'm ready to die quite just yet. Certainly not by being slammed into by a truck. Like, that was pretty fucking terrifying, watching that slide into me. Missed me. It did miss me, but only because I think the driver pulled up faster and I backed off, gave us that few seconds of leeway. Oh, dear goddess. So, and then the threats of being stabbed out in the music scene, you know, the veiled threats saying, oh, you know, one of the homeless men might it's not the homeless men I need worry about. The homeless men think I'm the bee's knees because I actually, you know, buy them the occasional coffee and speak to them like normal people and treat them with kindness, unlike the rest of those dead shits that couldn't date me in 12 years, you know. Like, oh, honestly, you have to laugh, don't you? So, no, it won't be the homeless men that stab me, but making that veiled threat to try and infest my psyche and fill me with fear. Well, they can, you know what, off too, animals. So, Mother Hydra's babies worming into their brain, making them hateful towards me for what? I didn't tell them to go and get themselves shotted up with, you know, unknown substances, did I? In fact, if they'd asked me, I would have said, don't do it, mate. But I figure everyone had free will, and I warned everyone that I could not to do it. And now they're still angry with me. It's not my fault. I warned them. They had fair warning. And now they're pissed off with me because they see me as some kind of, I don't know what they see me as, prophetess of doom. Or, in fact, I was the only wise one that said, don't you think it's a bit weird that they're offering you free football tickets and free donuts to shoot yourselves up with something that isn't even going to give you a good time, like smack might for a heroin addict? Not that I approve of that either, don't get me wrong, but I mean, by the gods, that was an obscenity, what our governments did to us. It really was, and I'm standing by that truth until the day either I die or the rest of the world dies. That truth will go down with me to Valhalla and back again, because I'll probably come back and vomit it in someone's face again. I'll haunt you all. If something happens to me unexpectedly for adhering to my truth, know this: your life will be a living torment until the day you die. A certain politician high up in the Queensland government. Be ready, be ready. As I suspect very strongly that that's where all the harassment stems from. Little algorithms running things back to that creature who's not fit to call herself a human, what she inflicted on the Queensland population. Evil it is. I have it on good authority that she's currently working or sent to Germany to lay low, as the people are starting to wake up and are a bit angry about what's been done to them. Surprise, surprise. I've been waiting for that day to come, that they wake up. Slowly, slowly they're waking up from their sleep. Their brainwashed, somnolent, zombie sleep. They're still not angry enough to fight back and form a revolution, though. I've been watching Neil Oliver, who's a wonderful man. God bless you, Neil Oliver. In I don't know if he's in Scotland, but he's Scottish. His podcast is called Love Letter to the British Isles. Wonderful man. Dr. John Campbell also would like a revolution, please. Little old me, who's of no importance, I want a revolution too, but I've been wanting it for about 20 years actually, because I knew this was coming. It was after September 11, I thought they won't stop with that, will they? They'll have to keep manufacturing more terror campaigns against the world global stage and eventually inculcate everyone. I knew. Since 2001, I knew it was coming. So this revolution that we need to have to clean out the filth that was willing to throw millions, billions of people under the bus, and our babies, the stillbirths, the gene altering, the infertilities, the sudden deaths, the crippling long-term adverse reactions, all of that has to be answered for. Doesn't it? But where's the revolution? No one's got the balls to carry it out. We're too busy, on our iPhones making videos, begging and imploring everyone to come into alignment, wake up and support each other and fight. No, everyone's too busy worrying about their next free donut, their next paycheck, their next booster. It's bizarre. It's really, to me, feels like an alien invasion, that the mass of humanity is getting along with this madness. It's not our normal native natural state to comply and go along to get along. It's our natural state to fight for our humanness, our physical bodies, our sanguinosis, to stay alive no matter what, and also to protect our young. Not give them from the age of 6 months, when they're still a tiny baby, haven't even barely had a chance at life yet. My goddess, it's mind-blowingly, mind-numbingly disturbing. So the gods vomited me back in 2015 and again in 2019 when they warned me that they were sending me back to a hellscape of epic proportions, and I said, I can't imagine what you're talking about. What nonsense, what absurdity is this? What part of my sleep apneiac hallucinogenized, it was after my gallbladder surgery where I was still on quite heavy and under the effects of the heavy anesthetic. I thought it was some awful hallucination. No, whoever that entity that said that to me, angel or demon or spirit guide, or I don't know who that was, I wouldn't deign to say it's God because I didn't quite get up to meet God in that NDE. But it was very, very confronting. Whoever that entity was did speak the truth, that I would be living through a hellscape of epic proportions. And here we are, 4 years later. That was June 25th, 2019. So 4 years, June, August, July, August. Yeah, almost 4 years and 3 months later. With a dead dog as well. It has been a hellscape, an absolute fucking hellscape. But here I am making nonsensical things that I can't eat in a crisis. But it's sterling silver, so maybe one day when things improve, somebody might buy my jewellery and help me get myself a little business established so I'm not so reliant on the state. That would be a nice fantasy to manifest. Maybe the God, the Holy One, in all manifestations, happy Rosh Hashanah, might send me my true love soon. A really decent, kind, loyal, loving, faithful man with honour and integrity and courage, who will stand by my side and be proud and happy to be my man and help put food on the table and, share resources if he's not wealthy. I don't expect a wealthy man, but a man who's willing to share, share the cost of living together, share, paying rental rates or wherever we end up living, who knows, and put food on the table. Now, I did have that with my ex-husband, that I still have these weird missives coming from outer space, from the astral, from the ether. He did actually put food on the table, and I had a paid up house by the time I was 23. So, in that respect, he did provide. But actually, it wasn't really him that provided, was it? It was his parents who put it in the will that the house be paid off, and they provided for me. That's why I still carry their name, Aaron's. I carry their name because they provided for me and my children up until I left that monster, and he refused to provide any further and refused to pay child support because he's just a thing, isn't he? What kind of man doesn't look after his own children? A thing, a non-entity, not worthy of taking up oxygen and space on this planet. But anyway, I had to let go of a lot of that anger because it was eating me alive for many years. And at the end of the day, he went on to get married and live a happy life, and I've suffered for what? For my outrage and my disgust and my loathing, righteous loathing, by the way. Well-deserved loathing it was. But anyway, no man wanted me because I was cast into poverty by that pig, so I became persona non grata. Also, I have an intellect and a wit that outstrips most, average or below average intelligent men, and then intelligent men are threatened by me because I can parry and thrust intellectually on an equal par to them, and most intelligent men choose women who are less intelligent so they can be dominating and controlling. So there is that. So you see how I fell between the boards, that no one wanted me. And also, I had my trauma issues, and now I'm not young anymore, so. But I'm not lonely. I'm happy in my garden here. I spent the day watching podcasts and on YouTube and watching Charlie play in the garden, and the crows came. Didn't they, Charlie? We gave the crows some watermelon, and they liked that. We watered the garden. So really, it's not so bad. I've survived alone for almost 29 years, and I'm quite sure I can survive alone for another 29 years if the gods allow me to live that long. It's not very likely. That's 30 years nearly. 50, it would make me 88. Ooh, scary thought. Well, my father did live to almost 3 days shy of 89 before he was murdered by medical neglect by the state of Victoria. And my mother she did make it, just turned 83. So I guess there is potential for me to live just as long if I avoid the constant death threats from people out in the scene, and ex-lovers or people that don't like me, governmental entities that don't like me, fighting them on the COVID issue, because they worry about losing, revenue from the poisons they've unleashed on the mainstream population. evil it is, perverted and evil. So anyway, that's my story, and have a wonderful afternoon. And I, as I said, will keep dancing my dance, perchancing my chance, and speaking my truth, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing of true value that I will take with me when I die. God's bless from the Holy One in all manifestations, the Ein Sof Or down to Malkut, back up again. Be afraid, be very afraid, because even though I'm a shaman and a witch and a bit of a heathen these days, more paganistic than Hebraic, after years of, fidelity to that religion, loyalty, deep love and affection, I learnt it's a big, big universe, and my God has my back. He had my back when I was, well, he didn't really have my back when I was being raised as a little Christian spiritualist girl. The endemic pedophilia in the family was evil and, well, heinous and evil and perverted. You didn't quite have my back then, did you? Oh, I prayed to be saved from them. I prayed nightly to be saved from them for years. And so how did the Holy One save me? Sent me Michael Aarons when I was 17 years old, and I thought that was going to be a loving family and safety. So I jumped literally out of the frying pan and into the fire. Oh, the irony. And so it took me another, 12 years to get myself free of that, just shy of turning 30. And it's taken me, 28 years, almost 29 in January it'll be, of rebuilding my life from that evil maladaptation of being married to that man, and that evil, evil divorce where everyone piled on and had a ride. Everyone, including the government. So, and the 3 strangulations, by the way. So I have done well in the past 29 years, almost 29 years, to survive all that malfeasance. So that's how I knew when COVID came along that it was all a gigantic farce and a scam and an evil beyond the realms of mortal comprehension. But those of us who were traumatized enough since birth could see through the giant excrement extruding from the talking heads on the news each night. We saw right through it, and we are seeing right through it again, by the way. Hello, media. The whores of Babylon, what they won't do for their pay packet. I see Ashton Kutcher has resigned from his position in Thorn, which was his own organisation supposed to help, child survivors of sexual abuse. The hypocrisy, not lost. I wonder why these people think they can get away with that, supporting serial rapists and people like Jimmy Savile, who actually worked, in charities and hospitals while he was damaging innocent children. It's just beyond the realms of mortal comprehension how they hide in plain sight, right up in your right nostril, while they're carrying on their disgusting deeds and expecting to get away with it. So yes, interesting times. On the one hand, a lot of evil and rot is being brought to the surface and light is being shone on it. And on the other hand, we still have the subterranean seepage like they're inflicting on the global masses. Still very much, well, the light's been shone on it, but they're still in denial, and we can't do anything about the denial. It took me a long time to wake up from my familial abuse and the abuse in my marriage and snap out of the denial. In fact, it was well after one of the strangulations that I finally thought, this is getting a bit weird, that so many people keep wanting to kill me just for living my life and being, you know, a former wife and a mother of young children and wanting to find a loving partner. There is no crime or shame in that. Yet I was severely punished at every turn for wanting the basic human right of a love, a true love, and a family, and a safe home to call my own, a safe haven, which is why this garden here is called Sacred Space, because it's my final and last safe haven that I have been gifted, but that I also have fought for and created here at Sacred Space. Safety starts from within. It starts from saying no to all oppressors and abusers, all threateners, all rapists, all attempted murderers. It starts from drawing the line in the sand, saying no. Like the ones that tried to drive me out of the music scene recently, stop me from having my dance that I'd only been doing for 13 years. Suddenly my dancing was offensive to them. Curious minds want to know why. But we know, don't we? It's my truth telling that really bothered them. So how will they get rid of me? By stopping me from living my normal life, my normal activities. Venal it is. But anyway, I've reached out and I've made people aware of the situation, that when I am out, keep a little bit of an eye out on me. Not that anyone can prevent anyone from running up and stabbing me one dark night, or right in the middle of a busy, crowded dance floor. I'll just have to be more super aware that my attacker could come from at any time and from any unexpected source. You know, it'll be someone I least suspect. But I'm pretty convinced it won't be any of the homeless men who adore me. So there is that. Anyway, on that note, I'm going to go now, and I'm going to hope and pray that we have a better year ahead, that I continue to live my life in safety and good health and happiness, and continue to dance, have my beautiful romantic Clayton's relationships with my gentleman friends who love me back, and my rich and nurturing and kind relationships with my true friends, and, you know, spend quality time when and as often as I can with my daughter, because time is fleeting and I am aging, and apart from the vague threats of being, you know, stabbed or whatever, I've got more worrisome things going on, like my bladder right now and my health. So I am under threat of not living much longer, and I have to enjoy each day as it comes. So I'm going to continue to do that, continue to live my best life to the best of my abilities, given my circumstances are a little bit more precarious than, you know, people who have good jobs and good incomes and supportive, nurturing, wealthier families, because all of that was divested from me years ago. So I'm going to continue making my jewellery, even though I'm not selling it at this stage. It doesn't really bother me. I'll just keep creating just for the fun of it. And I'm going to, yeah, enjoy life. So, Happy New Year. May it be the best year ever, 2023 to 2024. And blessed be from Sacred Space at Titania's Realm.